Hello Benjamin, I'm a psychiatrist. My name is George Stanley. I will be doing your psychological evaluation today.
I'm not sure why I'm required to do this, but I will give it a go. Just hope this isn't a waste of my time, George.
You won't be wasting my time. I get paid either way. The more people I see, the better for me.
That's sort of what I worry about your profession these days. You seem to want to take in as many people as possible to diagnose and medicate, sort of a self-perpetuating profession. You guys seem to manufacture illness through speculative examination of people, meanwhile prescribing medicines when you have no proof of illness, other than your evaluation with no tests to back up what you claim.
That's why I have a degree in psychology, so I can evaluate if someone is symptomatic of one of the many listed illnesses in the DSM-5 manual. We are confident in our understanding of the human brain and its functions. We believe we have a firm grasp of the reality and can judge whether or not an individual is crazy or sane.
Do you know anything of the soul, Doctor? I think that is one important part of a person's psyche, and where would psychology be without it? Just analogy or the study of nothing. I think that is one area that psychology ignores these days, thinking a person is only the result of their biological processes and that I am only the result of what is contained inside my head or my brain.
We are pretty confident in the belief that we know a person is nothing without their brain and that the soul, well, that's just a myth. At least that's what we tell ourselves and what we are taught in school. I'm pretty sure I have a good firm grasp of all that exists after all I have read about and studied while obtaining my degree in school.
There are some parts of reality that you may not be fully aware of, Doctor, at least in my particular case, and I will tell you why in a moment. First off, this is a bit difficult to say, what I am about to say about what I perceive in reality, that your profession seems to think of as a disease, rather than the ability it really is.
Oh, and what's that? What do you perceive that I am not aware of?
Well, George, I am clairaudient, as in I can hear those you think of as dead, but I know are quite alive and can be interacted with on a daily basis. I don't hear the voices from these souls in my head, but from the surrounding area I can't see them, but I can definitely detect their position in the environment I'm in, as well as whether or not they are male or female. They are under their own control. They don't originate from within me or my brain. They have a soul of their own and their own opinion. I can actually communicate with them usually better when I am alone and not distracted. I can focus on what they are saying to me or to each other. There exists another side of life in this universe, one that when a person's body dies, the soul is still around, existing simultaneously in our own universe, from what I believe is either best explained as dimensionally or as a different plane of existence. Some of us who can hear both sides of existence are just more aware than other individuals who can't perceive the overall reality.
What you just told me sounds more like schizophrenia, as you hear voices no one else can hear, or at least I can't, so that's what I assume is a correct diagnosis. That's what the DSM-5 recommends, so I follow it to the T. I don't dare question what I think is firm science, as it is what I believe exists in reality, and I don't think clairaudience is real. At least I haven't read enough about it, and my profession doesn't accept it as an ability, because we think there is something wrong with people who see or hear things that my field hasn't studied yet.
I think the reason you can't hear is because the voice isn't audible, as the souls I hear don't project sound and I don't hear with my ears but rather with my soul. I know that you guys have no clue and seem to think you are right about diagnosing individuals with schizophrenia or schizoaffective disorder when someone mentions they hear voices, but from my personal experience I know you are quite wrong about it, and your field's assumption is the ability is a disability. You guys really don't know what you're doing, and it's creating issues for individuals like myself in the real world.
Now come on, really, do you think we have the time to devote to studying areas of reality we assume don't exist, because we think we are done understanding reality and all that makes up the universe?
Now, parapsychology seems to be the only part of your field that is even remotely close to understanding, or at least willing to understand, the existence of parts of reality, even when it is beyond view to the naked eye or ear in this case. You guys should really take a tour of your haunted asylums that a field of psychology has left in its wake over the last 140 years of being practiced and studied. I think you guys ignore what you don't wish to see as the result of bad psychological practice that seems to be continuing to this day.
Ghosts, so they don't exist. I know next you're going to tell me that aliens exist as well. Now I know why I became a psychologist, so that I could keep people's delusions in check, because if I haven't seen or heard of it, there is no way it exists.
You seem pretty closed-minded to the possibilities that exist in this universe, and perhaps at best you not try to diagnose me, because I know you will only do harm, and as the Hippocratic Oath says first, do no harm. Your field seems to ignore the Hippocratic Oath currently, as you guys aren't willing to do the work and study what exists in reality, and you assume everything has been figured out already, that nothing new needs to be studied or worked out in the field. You seem to rubber stamp disease to appease the pharmaceutical industry, where in this field you can set up a factory of speculative illness and dispense assumptive treatment, in the form of psych meds, which can be expensive and dangerous, as well as have a long list of side effects and risks.
I didn't take the Hippocratic Oath in school, so I don't have to follow its rules, as I swore myself to the pharmaceutical industry to make sure they have plenty of profit. In return they give me kickbacks on the side. It's a pretty sweet deal, and all I have to do is pretend to find illness in people and send them more prescribers.
That's what I figured. You're less of a medical doctor than a salesman with a prescription pad with a long list of illnesses in the DSM-5, that you can pretty much match a disease to anyone, as they seem to have every symptom possible written out, that there is little chance you'll ever just let someone go thinking nothing is wrong with them. It's a real grand illusion that you guys got going here, pretending to practicing good medicine, when you're just looking at someone's bottom line and profit rather than trying to cure or help people.
I don't like your tone. I think I will overdiagnose you as dangerous and delusional, because you are challenging me and my profession, and I have the right to throw you into a psych ward, where I can hold you without an actual cause other than whatever I wish to make up.
False imprisonment and forced psychology isn't exactly legal, as it goes against basic human rights, especially in this country. I will sue your ass for malpractice if you do anything to me. Besides, it's not only me you're going to have to answer to. In the end, the Hippocratic Oath you neglected to take as a standard for all medical fields, and it is held up not only in the physical world but also the spiritual. The lack of oversight you have now is being compensated by oversight by the soul side of life. You will have to answer for your practice of bad medicine in the end. It's only a matter of time. For every person you misdiagnose that is in my position as a clairaudient, will be held against you, as there is a need for open communication. We can't risk individuals who are aware to reckless men with lab coats and overconfidence, who make more mistakes than correct assumptions. Perhaps I should bring up Nellie Beliai to you.
Please don't mention her. That's a sore spot in psychology. We think we have improved since then. We have much nicer offices now.
Yeah, but you still kept the sadistic temperament and misdirected attitude of ignoring the patient's needs and replaced them with your own. Your field has a long way to go before I consider you a legitimate medical field, as you need to put your patient's needs and understandings ahead of your own, and instead of rubber stamping disease, you might find that most people just need to talk to someone. They don't need to be force-fed medications that do nothing for them except enrich you and the pharmaceutical industry. If you paid attention to the soul, you might find that most things psychologically can be solved without any medicine, as it's all in the head, like your diagnosis.
Damn, what did I do to deserve this hostility? I didn't sign up for this shit. Perhaps it's best I don't have you as a patient. I don't want to have to look over my shoulder or evaluate what I am doing to make sure it's correct when it comes to diagnosis. That's why they gave me a degree in psychology.
They are right. Psychiatrists are sometimes crazier than those they wish to think are crazy. You guys get stuck in repetition that you see disease and illness where it really isn't. I'll bet you never have had a patient that you thought was perfectly fine. Otherwise, why would they be seeing you, as your approach to the study of psychology and dispensing malpractice is your occupation?
Betty, can you ask security to escort Benjamin out of my office? I think we are done here.
I will see myself out, sir. You really are a dictator with a lab coat, calling on your servants to do your bidding, because you are not willing to face the facts of reality. You need someone else to do it for you. We will be watching you, sir, carefully. That's what my friends say on the other side. They will be seeing you when you're done with life. You have some explaining to do. I doubt if you will be practicing psychology your next life. They may ban you from the practice. Have a nice life, and have fun at your inquiry.